Hello, loved ones. Welcome to the Whose Life Is It Anyway podcast. We made this for you who are now ready to help create a world that works for everyone. Enjoy.
Hello, everybody. We are talking to Caroline Shola Arewa, known as the Energy Doctor, and she aims to energize and empower you. And she has been a leading figure in spirituality and wellness for a good 30 years, working internationally. She's also a psychologist, and she's the author of 5 books, including bestsellers Opening to Spirit and Energy for Life. And she's the founder of Enlightened Entrepreneurs. She trains and mentors yoga teachers, wellness coaches, healers, and heart-centered entrepreneurs worldwide. And she's working with a focus on energy and the chakras. And when you work with Shola, it's not just information, but transformation. So reach your highest potential, all with an abundance of love and laughter.
That was a lot.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot. And that's my aim. That's my aim, to have a lot of love and laughter. And really what all of that is about is energizing and empowering people.
Yeah.
That's what I really want to do. Transforming lives to energizing and empowering.
Yeah. So there's a strong necessity for that now, to bring for people to take the power back to themselves and feeling energized and coming from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had a period of time where I think people's energy has been really kind of drained, really low energy, real kind of lack of stability, and people are looking for answers. They're looking for kind of different ways to move forward and live their lives.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you're there to help stabilize that ship.
Yeah. So,
so,
I've been here, like you say, for 3 decades, just really wanting to, elevate people and their consciousness whenever people are ready,
Yeah.
How did you get started on that journey?
Wow, that's an interesting question. For myself, I was actually a fashion designer. So I had a business. That's why it took me so long to get ready.
You look good.
I had a fashion business in my kind of early 20s. And after a few years of that, it was a successful business, but I started thinking there must be more to life. I kind of came home, I was counting money, and it went from a real passion for design and for making the clothes to success was counting money. And I think when that happened, I just was kind of, there has to be more to life. And so literally I just left it all behind. These are in the days of atlases. So I put a pin in an atlas because we didn't have Google back then. And I chose 2 places to go to, and I literally just packed up and I left. And I went to Hong Kong, was one of the places, and Bali, luckily, was another place. And on that journey, I also found my way to India, where I spent 1.5 years. I became a yoga teacher, and my own life was just completely, 360-degree transformation as a result of making that shift. And so when I came back, I just wanted to support other people, really, who are ready to kind of welcome something deeper, something more expansive, something greater into their lives. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 3 decades.
Wow.
We have both seen something interesting the last couple of days, where a question was being asked, where it was like people would finish a sentence, and the sentence was, if I was not afraid, I would ... And many people's answer was, pack up everything with my family and leave. But they're obviously afraid to do that. And you have done that. We have done that now. Yeah. But where did you get the courage to just like pluck up your roots and then go to Hong Kong, Bali, and India and this? and start like do this 180-degree transformation of your life? Where did that come from?
That's also an interesting question. You know, I was young, and I'm not sure if you need as much courage when you're young.
True.
Yeah.
Because you're more likely to be kind of, I think I'm going to leave. And then, you know, you change things a lot easier, but it wasn't easy because I had a business, I had staff, I had people that I was kind of responsible for. So actually it was quite a, you know, a long kind of drawn out process and decision making, and people thought I was crazy. But I think I kind of have a lot of what I would say is faith. And I know Les Brown has an acronym for faith, which is finding answers in the heart. Finding answers in the heart. And I think I just have a kind of trust. And to this day, I still have it. And it's never let me down. Never let me down. And so I think sometimes we just need to take a leap into the unknown and know that all is well, you know, just know that we'll be kind of caught or we'll land in a soft place, and just somehow have faith, finding answers in the heart.
But that does take faith. Like if you leave without having faith that you're being caught, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, if you don't have them, it makes all those changes a lot more difficult. So when you now you are counseling and guiding people who want to start on a spiritual path, also spiritual business, how do you help them? How do you lead them and help them lead themselves from that? Like, how do you guide them into having faith in that they will be caught?
I think the first thing is that we hold on. You know, we hold on to what we know and what we are familiar with. And so the first thing is actually just being a little bit more expansive, even just taking a breath and just being expansive and start. Absolutely. And just kind of starting to be still.
All right.
Starting to get present, so that we can be in any kind of given moment. We can be in that moment and know that from each moment to moment, we're okay. You know, we're safe, we're good in each moment. If we look in the past, if we look in the future, then it might be a little bit more turbulent. But if we're able to somehow stay in a moment, we're fine, we're good, we're okay. And I think that's what it takes. It takes us to really just connect with any moment and be willing to be in a place of unknown. And in a funny way, to recognize that that's where we are all the time, that we think we know, that we get familiar, and then we think we know, and then we get attached to that kind of illusion of knowledge. And if we recognize that actually we don't know, and we start getting comfortable with not knowing, then I think we can have more faith, because we learn that actually we're good, we're safe, we're good, we can expand, and all is well.
Right. That's a really good way of putting it.
I'm just getting still.
Yeah.
I can feel your words.
Yeah. It's quite interesting because I get pulled into, like, I observe myself more and more getting pulled into past and future. Right. And from there, I am able to guide myself back to the present moment. But before I do that expansion, as you talk about, I'm not able to hold that space where I can return to myself, because then I'm just sort of like stuck into the spinning of the minds, like, oh, what do I do about this bill, or what do I do about this, and what if they do this, and then I have to do that, and becoming present and centered. I mean, it's so important, especially right now.
Absolutely. And I think we learn on the spiritual path that anytime we're in the future or anytime we're in the past, that's where we're more likely to meet suffering. You know, anxiety and pain and suffering and all of those things, they're not in the moment. You know, they're when the mind travels into the past or into the future, and we start creating, and then we start getting attached to the creation that we have made, and we believe it to be true. I think they say that most things that people worry about never actually happen. And so I think it's starting to understand these truths, you know, really realizing what is real and what we're fabricating and believing to be real.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about that most of the things that we worry about never come to pass, you were talking also about, oh, what was it? Sorry. I've lost my train of thought.
That's okay. Take a breath.
But it was one of the things that you're working on and with. Oh, that's annoying.
Oh.
You take it away.
No, I was thinking about what can you do to be present. I know for you it helps to move your body and do qigong or tai chi. What else can you do?
Yeah, that's also a good question, because you know, I think that we do need to learn skills to just be in the present. You know, otherwise it's maybe just words. You know, it's kind of, what does it really mean to be in the moment and to be present? I think the things that have really helped me to be in the moment is definitely my yoga practice and teachings, meditation, even just being with the breath. And I think, you know, as we said, I've done this for a long time, and many kind of years ago, I always thought that my practice needed to be kind of like a long practice. You know, I used to practice for an hour and a half every day, and that's what I thought we needed. And I think we maybe did actually at that time, because of the kind of acceleration that we've all been experiencing, and people are learning lessons much quicker. Maybe now we don't need that. And one of the things that I do to stay present is a really simple exercise that actually just takes a couple of minutes. And
yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, let me share that with you, because it's so simple. It is just to take the right hand and bring it onto your heart center. Let me see if I can and then you take your left hand and you bring it just below, it's kind of just below your navel. Right, you can just sit your thumb into your navel. Okay. Just rest. And then just gently close your eyes if that's comfortable. And you're not changing your breath, but your breath will change. And I call this practice energy for life balance. And your right hand is over your cardiac plexus. So it's giving a gentle, tranquil feeling to your system. It's also boosting your immune system. But most of all, you're sending love and compassion from your heart to yourself, receiving that energy in the sacred home of I. Just having an awareness of this moment, this very moment. And just taking a deep breath. And then releasing your hands when you're ready. And just open your eyes.
That was really nice.
That was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also call that a 2-minute vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I find that it's really much about allowing yourself that time, just 2 minutes, because my mind is racing and thinking about the dish I put in the oven, my children, this interview, what else, and then coming back and just allowing myself to just be. It's just 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a reset.
Yeah.
It's a really simple reset. And I really like it because I find it so easy for anyone listening just to take that space, just to have that time. And I say to my clients, actually, even if you're at work, in the workspace, you can literally just go into the bathroom, take 2 minutes and do energy for life balance if you need to. So, we can all do that. And that really allows us just to be in the present, just for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's also a question of, you say allowance, like allowing yourself, because so many of us, we busy ourselves. And then I can't do that because I have to, but you wear yourself out and you're losing your energy. So you were talking about, that's what I was trying to get to before, increasing people's energy. Like, how do we do that? And the thing is, like, when we scatter ourselves and when we're in that spin and confusion, future, past, then our energy is diffused. So how do you help people, apart from this fantastic exercise, how do you help people come into that and increase their energy?
Yeah. Well, I like what you said, because as you say, when our mind is either in the past or in the future, we're diffusing our energy. We're losing energy. And often we blame other people. People love that. It's
What happens?
Like, this person's draining my energy, that person's draining my energy, this one's an energy vampire, all of these things that, we're kind of learning. And actually, in my work, I use 2 power questions, and I train coaches, spiritual coaches. And these are the 2 key questions that I have them ask, because we're working from an energy perspective. So the questions that I ask is, how do you use or abuse your energy? How do you use or abuse your energy, and how could you use it better?
Right.
And I think most of us, can probably write reams about what we could be doing differently. And I think that is the key. It's all about how we manage our energy and just having that awareness. There's plenty of time. Nobody needs to make time. So every day has, I think, is something like 1,440 minutes a day or something, but it's plenty. So we have time. In terms of stress, by the time we have stress, it doesn't really need managing. We need to look at how can we kind of avoid, reduce before we get to that place. And so when we manage energy, we don't really need to be managing time and managing stress and all of those things, because what underlies it is our energy. So when we get more conscious about how we use and abuse, and I know that's it's quite a strong word, and I use it very consciously, because we abuse our energy. Right. And there are ways that we could do that differently.
Right.
What are your thoughts? What's kind of landing?
It's the taking the power back. Instead of you telling people to do this or do that, ask themselves the question, what are you doing? What could you be doing differently? And I mean, that's been a big part of our journey. And this is like taking it back. And we see everybody that's has a good life. Like, I'm not looking at money or anything, but like they've taken it back to themselves, and instead of blaming everyone else, like the energy vampires or the government or whoever you come across that ticks you off, like take it back and then decide where do you want to pay attention, pay your energy, where, like, and keep some for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where the real power is. And once we understand that, and stop seeing power as something that is external to us, but start really connecting with the choices that we can make on a daily basis. We're just making choices from sun up until sundown. It's a constant series of choices. And those choices determine our destiny. I believe we do get to choose, but so often we give that power away by, seeing the power as something that is external. And, how we respond, how we live, how we use energy, we choose, we get to choose that.
Exactly. And I've also noticed, like, the more we take that power and energy back, the more sort of magical things seem to happen in our lives, like opportunities present themselves to unfold that, or like just strange things happen that take you in a direction you couldn't imagine, and suddenly, like, we're now sitting in Tuscany in a villa. We didn't see that coming. That
just a plot twist.
Yeah. And it's just fantastic, and so many things have happened on this journey since we took it back.
I'm thinking of something else about making choices. Today I had a little talk with my son. He's 14, and he said that the other day he and his dad drove his friends to the airport, and at the airport there was military and police in full gear with the guns and everything to control people.
Right.
And I said, it just blows my mind that these people will accept to do that, to follow those orders, to scare people instead of making people feel safe.
Right.
And my son had noticed that in several movies. He was like, well, they're the evil guy. He has a lot of bodyguards, but if the bodyguards would just say, no, I won't protect you because you're a bad guy, people will kill the bad guy and everything will be good again. That's what he noticed. But people are more afraid of losing their job than doing bad things to other people, and that just blows my mind. And that's a choice they're making. That's an active choice.
And then covering it by saying, but I'm just following the rules, I'm following this edict or something, instead of saying, I am a human being, I cannot conscientiously be doing this disservice to humanity.
It's so weird for me.
There's a very beautiful, I don't know the quote, but it's something that's easily found on YouTube, but it's Muhammad Ali. When they want to enroll him and send him to Vietnam. I don't know if you've ever heard it. And he just refuses. He says, no, they're not my enemy. They didn't do anything to me. They didn't do me any wrong. If you want to put me in prison, put me in prison. If I'm going to die, let me die right here. I'm not going to Vietnam. And of course, he does end up in prison as a result of it. But he's very, very clear. No, I am not. And he said, I'm not going to go to Vietnam and kill people, especially poor people. I'm not doing it. And I think that's the only time that I've really seen somebody very, very clear and just say, regardless of the consequences, but really stay on that side of what we know in our hearts is right. Because people suffer as well so much when they come back from the military. Veterans they really suffer because of what they've seen, possibly what they have done, because it's not in alignment with our hearts and our soul. So yeah, I kind of really hear what you're saying.
I'd say most of the people that enroll or enlist in military, they do it though from a very pure place of feeling of wanting to protect their fellow man. But what they then end up having to do when they're out there is that damages the soul.
Yeah. And then it takes time to kind of return and come back. I notice when I was traveling, which is a long time ago, but there was a lot of soldiers, particularly from Israel. So they would do their service and then they would literally go seeking.
Yeah.
They would find themselves in India and Nepal and places where they could kind of restore their soul, sense of self, and just really regenerate that spiritual energy.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I know by far the majority of us are traumatized much more than we actually know. So having these restorative practices and having people like you out there to guide them and like catch them when they take that leap. I mean, it's a huge thing. It's also a huge necessity and a big service to humanity, that what you're doing. So thank you for all you are providing. And I really hope that the people that sit and listen to this, that they will seek out you and do that service to their soul. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you just saw, head on over to whoselifeisitsummit.com/podcast, where you can find full-length episodes as well as in audio format. And we do a lot of other cool stuff. You can hang out with us and other like-minded individuals who want to create a world that works for everyone. And we do that on our platform, where we can chat, and we have Q&As and exclusive interviews as well. So there's so much to get over there. So come on over and play with us.